Hey guys, hope you're all doing really well. This week I wanted to share with you guys a shoot that I did recently. I'll bring you sort of like along behind the scenes because I did something a little bit different this time to what I usually do, and also I want to share with you guys a new piece of gear that I've been rocking pretty much since the start of the year. I used to do a lot of video. Actually, I started this channel shooting more video than photo, and that's something that I haven't really done recently, is actually like just try to make a video. So at a recent shoot that I had planned, I was shooting completely on my film camera, so there was no digital images, and I wanted to create a little video alongside those film images to kind of complement them. But obviously I'm doing this all by myself, so I decided to keep it quite simple with the video, just some really simple shots, simple compositions, paired up with a nice soundtrack and some ambient sound to make it feel more immersive. I shot it all on my Sony ZV-E1 with this one lens. So this is the Sony 24-50 f2.8. This lens has been around for a little while, but earlier in the year I decided to pick it up as a pretty much do everything lens on my recent trip to the USA. Now, if you have seen the video that I did from that trip, then you would have seen a lot of examples because I've shot the entire trip with this one lens. And hopefully this is going to replace the two lenses that I had for my ZV-E1 before, which was the Tamron 17-28 and the Sigma 28-70. And these are both 2.8 lenses. And I think I was able to document the trip really beautifully, hopefully doing justice to these beautiful parts of Washington and Oregon in the United States. So 24-50 is a really usable range of focal lengths, and because of the clear image zoom on the Sony ZV-E1, I'm able to do an additional 1.5 times crop. So when you zoom out to 50 millimeters and then you add that crop on, then you can get a reach of a pretty much like equivalent to a 24-70 2.8. But then obviously when you consider the size of this lens, it is so much smaller than your regular 24-70 f2.8 or even the 28-70 that I already have. It does have a few quirks though, which I will talk about in this video. But first of all, I wanted to roll the video that I created from the shoot that I did recently. So I hope you guys enjoy. So because my attention was already torn between shooting stills, especially with a film camera, it's a little bit more involved in, getting your exposure and making sure everything is right before you fire the shutter. I really just wanted to keep this edit nice and simple, and as I said, just complement the images that I was creating with the stills camera. I shot the video in S-Log3 and then I color graded all of my footage and edited the video in DaVinci Resolve. And for my color grading, I kept it pretty simple, just using 4 nodes. So the first one is a halation layer. This was a power grade that I actually got for free from another YouTuber called Works, and I love the look and feel of this halation power grade. I've only used it so far just on this one project, but so far so good. The second node or layer is the film grain, so I used the DaVinci Film Look creator and I just dialed in the grain to taste. I'll leave the settings somewhere here on the screen. And then my next layer is the color space transform. So as I said, I'm shooting an S-Log3. I transferred it into Rec 709, and then I just used the slider below to adjust my exposure for each and every clip. And then finally, I have a LUT layer, which I used my natural LUT from my LUT pack, and I dialed it in at about 60% opacity. And that just helps to bring a little bit of stylization to the video, kind of just put my own personal touch on the look of the footage itself. And that's pretty much it, aside from cropping the video to a 4:3 aspect ratio. I like to keep it pretty simple, and I think color grading is very, very subjective. And in my opinion, I know some people would disagree with this, there is no right or wrong way to color grade footage. Now, one thing that I don't often do that I did this time was actually use the 9:16 frame guidelines while I was shooting. And this is mainly an experiment, but I did want to see what it would be like if I tried to film a project with both a vertical and a horizontal deliverable in mind. And so I was keeping in mind those frame guides while I was shooting, sometimes doing wide shots just to try to keep the subject within those guides, sometimes ignoring them altogether if I had an idea that would only work with the horizontal version of the video. I did shoot everything handheld, and this is something that I've been doing for a long time now, and I don't use any image stabilization within the camera. I keep my shutter speed quite high, so somewhere between 1/160th and 1/200th of a second, and that is because I stabilize all my footage in the Catalyst Prepare software. I have just consistently gotten a really good result from this method of stabilization, much better than using in-body stabilization or lens stabilization, just in my opinion. It gives this really nice organic floaty kind of handheld look. It kind of just looks like handheld footage from a really heavy camera or a camera mounted on something like an easy rig. So going back to what this video is actually about, which is this lens, the 24-50. So having that 24mm focal length, I think really does help for video. It is nice to be able to get just a little bit wider than 28, and I did really take this into consideration when I picked up this lens as potentially a lens that I would shoot a video like this with also. So I'm shooting right now at 28mm, and this is nice, but I would just prefer it to be a little wider than what it currently is. Plus, it's nice to be able to reach out to the camera and control the camera from here. I don't need to connect to Bluetooth and use the app or anything like that to control the camera. It's all within arm's reach. So when I was creating this video, I was able to get a really interesting sort of close-up, wide-angle look with some of these shots, as well as stepping back, zooming all the way out to 50, and then using the clear image zoom to get really beautiful, like shallow depth of field with really nice detail shots of the outfits and the jewelry and things like that. And also the added bonus of having a nice shallow depth of field when zoomed in to 50mm. Then for some shots, I would be using the clear image zoom on top of that, and that just helps to kind of crop out more of the background, so helping you to really focus in on the detail that you're trying to capture. So definitely the coolest thing about this lens, and I've already mentioned it, it's pretty much just the size and the footprint. So this takes up much less space in my bag than two lenses, and even takes up less space than my 28-70. But there is one quirk with this lens, and I'll show you right here. So it is currently at 50mm, and if you turn the ring, it will go to 24mm, but then the barrel will extend. So if you've seen other lenses before, you'll know that this is completely opposite to what usually happens. Usually at the widest focal length, the lens will be retracted, and then at the longest focal length, it will be extended. So it did take me a little bit of time to get used to this. And usually when I hand this lens off to somebody else to use, they're also a little bit confused at first. Now, this is not the only lens out there that does this. There are other lenses that are designed in this way. And I wasn't sure at first if this would annoy me, but I've kind of gotten used to it now. Now, another thing, being a native Sony lens, it does give you the focus breathing compensation, which is something that you don't actually have access to on third-party lenses. So it's really cool knowing that if I was doing a tracking shot, maybe moving in and the focus is adjusting in autofocus, that there won't be any changes to the field of view. So I'm thinking that this 24-50 will probably replace the other two lenses that I have. I do like to kind of take my time to make these decisions, so I haven't sold off the other lenses just yet, but we'll see in the future what happens. So let me know what you guys thought of the video that I was able to create all with this one lens. And if you like the way that my color grade looks as well, I do have my LUTs for sale down in the description below. Also, I want to say a special thank you to a few people. First of all, Julian for filming all the behind the scenes that you would have seen in this video of that shoot that I did. Also to my friend Esther for being my photo assistant for this shoot. She was really helpful with the reflector and helped me to create some really beautiful images. And last but not least, to Hia, who was our model on the shoot. She did a really great job. So thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I'll see you all in the next video.